Hello, welcome to this video. I'm joined today by Peter Darling.
Hello.
Hello. And he's going to talk about some songwriter mindset tips. So this is things like if you're not in the mood for songwriting, how to motivate yourself to write songs, how to get started, that kind of thing. So Peter, if you're not in the mood for songwriting, what do you do?
I get in a flap about it and I get annoyed, which I think is important. You've got to try and get over the thing that you're bothered by. And then I just think of practical things that I can do to help me start working. So one thing is creating the right environment to work within. So making sure I have a desk, somewhere to sit, to write, making sure that it's pretty tidy. For me, it's a case if at the start of writing everything's a bit messy, then I don't respond as well, or I don't start as well. Normally by the end of me writing, it's an absolute tip because I've brought in an instrument.
Crisp packets everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. But right at the start, I like to be able to start almost like a clean slate and just say, right, what are we going to do? So I find that can help. If you're making sure you have a routine, it's like sports people. They have what they call their superstitions. So they will always put their right sock on before their left or things like that. I would say that is just putting yourself in a mindset to create. I work often with a company called WMP, and the guy Ben McAvoy, who started the company, when he first started the company, it was he started the company in his attic. In his attic was where he had Logic and he had everything set up. And regardless of the fact that he was at home, he could have done it naked and it wouldn't have mattered. He would get dressed every day in work clothes, and he would put himself in the mindset to say, right, I'm going to create now. He would then go upstairs and work. And your mental attitude when you come to write is so important, because a great idea may come and go because you just weren't in the right frame of mind to actually kind of grab onto it and go, oh, that's cool. What can I do with this? So I can find that's really, really helpful.
Yeah, with me, a lot of it's just forcing myself to do it. I get like snacks and drinks around me so that I have to leave the room.
Yeah.
Phone on airplane mode.
Yeah.
And just be like, right, just write anything, something, whatever, just any idea, just to kind of get in the mood, get the momentum going.
Yes.
So I don't try and write an amazing song. I just play a couple chords on the keyboard and they're like, oh, this is, and then kind of slowly get into it, even though I don't want to, because a lot of the time, I'd rather be outside or doing something else.
That feeling of, writers call it that feeling of having a blank page, not knowing where to go. Like a blank Logic project file is terrifying. It really is. And so sometimes what I like to do is to just apply restrictions to myself straight away. So if I'm sat there and I don't really know what to write, I haven't got an initial inspiration or whatever, I'll often say, I'll start with tempo. So for me, I'll go, do you know what? I'm going to write a song and the BPM's going to be 109. I've never written a song that's 109 BPM. And I change the BPM and the tempo of it. And then from there, I'll try and write a song to that tempo. And that can be really helpful. Just applying some form of restriction to you as a songwriter is good, because you end up having to try and think around that restriction and go, okay, this now is going to be different from what I normally do. What can I do about that? On the subject of tempo, I know I have my own like comfort zone tempo that I like to use. So for me, it's like, I know this, it's like 70 BPM or 140 BPM, so double that, because I like that sort of pace, because I can write at this tempo and then suddenly I can include rhythms or percussion that are going at this tempo. So I can change what feels like the perceived pace of a moment, and that works really well for that. The problem is like I end up writing a million songs that are 70 BPM and they all just end up sounding the same. So I have to force myself to write at a different tempo, a different pace, and I'll normally write something different out of that.
Do you ever find yourself just writing a new song again, never finishing songs?
Absolutely.
Because I have that problem a lot. I'll have a song that's almost done, but it needs another section, it needs arranging, it needs mixing, or you could start a brand new song. It's kind of the new shiny object. The new one would be the best one.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember reading this idea that Jerry Seinfeld has, the comedian, where in order to make himself write every day, he put up a calendar in his office, in his workspace, and then every single day that he wrote something, didn't matter whether it was like 200 words or it was 2 words, he would put an X on the day to say that he'd done it. And then every single time that he sat at that workspace, he was able to look up at this calendar and go, look at all the progress I've made. I'm going to keep going. It would help motivate him. So I took that and I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and write a song a day, but I'm going to try and finish the song, because often I will write ideas and I'll write a verse, or I might write up to the first chorus and then I'll go, I'm done now. Right, I'm going to go have a cup of tea. And then I just leave the idea. So what I would do was I would sit there and I would try to start a song and I'd try to finish the song as well. And there were many times during the process where I'd be halfway through a song and I'd go, I don't really like this at all. But I thought it was important for me to be able to finish the idea, even if I didn't like it that much. And I learned so much about songwriting through that, because I learned the tools to fill in the gaps, even when you're not in the creative space or you're not feeling excited about a song. And so it's meant that now when I come to write, I've got all this evidence of previous years of me sitting down, starting a song, finishing a song, that I feel confident that when a good idea comes along, when an idea that I'm really excited about, I can finish it. And that, I think, is really important, is perseverance. It's being able to set emotion aside, set how we're feeling aside in the moment, and still craft an idea and know that I can make it better. It doesn't have to be perfect in the moment. I can just make an idea, and it could be 60% there, it could be 3% there, but I know that I can make it better. So actually having the willpower to start an idea, to develop an idea and finish an idea are all really, really important. And you will write better because you have persevered and got to the end of an idea, even if it's not perfect at that moment.
Yeah, with me, a lot of it is collaborating. For example, today, I know, Pete's coming around at 2:00. Let's get the cameras ready, get the microphone set up. Let's think of some topics to talk about. But if I was by myself, maybe I wouldn't do the video.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you've got someone there, you don't want to be seen as lazy. You don't want to be letting the team down.
Oh, I'd still be in bed right now, quite frankly. What time is it now? It's like, we're recording this, it's nearly 4. Yeah, I'd still be in bed. Working with other people keeps you accountable. It really, really does. And it's really helpful. And it means that I'm on my game. If I'm collaborating with someone like you, or artists that I've worked with, or other songwriters that I know are good at what they do, it challenges me and it makes me go, come on, you need to step up as well and do a good job. Like, finding other people who are passionate about what they do is the best, because it's a motivating tool in itself. If you're just doing it all on your own in your bedroom or in another room in the house, and you've got no one there to keep you accountable, I find it so hard to do it. I'm lucky that I'm really, really lucky that I often get asked to write for someone else, or I get paid to write. Like, if I wasn't getting paid, I probably wouldn't want to do it as much. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes money can be a motivating factor, but there are times where you need to write, and you maybe don't have. It's a solitary experience. You don't have someone else next to you who's going to be like as helping you get excited about it. It might not be for someone else. It might just be, I've got to write this thing, and there's no like, doesn't feel like there's any benefit or outside motivation. You've got to find that yourself. But it can be really helpful getting other people involved.
I think having a deadline is important as well.
Yes.
If you don't have a deadline, the project goes on for a very long time. But if you set yourself a deadline, has to be done at this time. I think it's Parkinson's law. I can't remember the exact quote. I'm not going to butcher it.
Okay.
But the time fits the project fits the allocated time.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think that.
So if you have a year to write an album, it's going to take you a year. If you have a week to do an album, you'll finish it in a week. If you have to get it done then.
Yeah. I agree. I think that it's so easy to just, like, if there's no pressure on an idea, it's very easy just to go, I'll leave that, it's fine. If there is the pressure of you're writing something for someone else, then immediately it's like, okay, they're going to need this, right? Let's get cracking, let's do it. I think that can be really helpful, setting yourself a deadline. I'm a structured procrastinator, so like I will, instead of doing the thing that I really care about or that I feel is important, I'll get everything else done. But what I find is really helpful for me is, in those situations, I might start an idea and then I will say, right, I'll try and start it early and then come back to it, if that makes sense. So maybe it's the night before I have to submit something. I still have quite a bit to do, but I've started this idea a while back and I've been thinking about it for ages, up until the point where I have to resubmit it. For me, the contemplative process is really, really useful. I might be doing other stuff. I might be washing up. I might be just watching something, like whatever. But in the back of my mind, the thing that I'm working on is percolating. I'm mulling it over without even realizing it. And that's when inspiration can strike. But it only strikes if I've started working on the idea first. So that's what I've tried to incorporate more into what I'm doing is starting an idea, and then if I don't have to finish it in one sitting, then leaving it and coming back to it.
Okay, so that's some songwriting motivation tips with Peter Darling. Thank you for joining me on this video. If you haven't checked him out yet, Peter Darling. If you like this video, remember to give it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, remember to subscribe. And we'll talk to you soon.